everyone. Good afternoon, and I hope you are all doing great. So as you have been following through our social media platforms, WTM Algiers have decided to dedicate a whole week and more to spread awareness about online safety, especially when it comes to women, regarding the fact that they experience online harassment far more than men. And to dive deeper into this sensitive topic, we are joined today at this Online Safety Week panel by amazing experts who are willing to share their knowledge with us all. On that note, let's please give a warm welcome to our dear panelists. So we have Ms. Amal Slami, a machine learning GDE and a participant in Women's Online Safety Hackathon at Dubai for last year, 2019. We are also joined by Ms. Abel Hamash. She's a WTM ambassador and a freshly graduated software engineer. So congratulations once again, Abel. Next, we have Mr. Amin Rahmani, who's a cybersecurity specialist and researcher at G-Code Laboratory. Just to give you guys a quick update, we would have loved to have Dr. Boudieff with us today, but unfortunately he won't be able to make it. However, we would like to sincerely thank him for his dedication to take part in this panel. Now, before we get right into the questions we have prepared today for our panelists, let's see if they would like to give introductory words, starting with you, Ms. Amal. Are there any thoughts you would like to share with us?
Hello, thank you everyone for the invitation. I'm really glad to be part again of this journey and try to share as much as possible the awareness about women online safety, because somehow this online, if women are not online safe, at some point they cannot be even offline. So, and vice versa. So yeah, thank you again for the invitation, and thank you for trying to share all this with the community and everyone in Algeria.
Thank you so much, Ms. Amal. We are very pleased to have you with us today. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And how about you, Ms. Abir? Is there anything you would like to add?
Hello, everyone. First, I want to thank TechMakers Algiers team for organizing this panel. It's an honor to me to be a part of this amazing panel. I hope for this session to find the solution. I won't say that we will find a solution for this issue, but I hope that this is going to be an opportunity to at least raise awareness about the issues that women in technology nowadays.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Abir. Monsieur Rahmani, is there anything you would like to add to what Ms. Abir and Amal have said?
Yes, of course. Thank you for this invitation, and it is honorable for me to participate here for this event that came in the right time, especially with the increasing amount of using social media, especially, and websites, and the last events that we all witness these days about, especially about privacy in social media. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Amin, for coming to our panel today and willing to share your knowledge with us all. So just to remind our panelists again, you can answer the questions however you like. So the questions are going to be mainly in English, but you can answer in any language that you like or feel comfortable using. So without further ado, let's start with the questions. This very first part of them is especially directed to Monsieur Rahmani. First of all, what does the term online safety refer to?
In fact, online safety is a special term that many of the listeners may think that is related to security directly. In fact, it's not about only security. It's about another another domain that we call privacy, which is much more important and much more critical in websites, in web applications than security itself, because ensuring security of person means ensuring the security of your client against external attacks, some internal attacks. But privacy means leaking private data, leaking data that can identify the client or the user, especially women in that we think in our society, without saying no, that our society gives maybe much more I don't know, much more freedom for men to be or to do wrong things than women. So in fact, thinking about sharing photos, about sharing informations, etc., that is that we can see the photos or something of men's that maybe look normally rather than women. But in fact, privacy, and I think much more, I think lots of users think like that, is that sometimes we talk or we speak about some things which is these days a juridical case in United States between Instagram and Congress, because of using the microphone and camera of users to spy on them, to decide which things they like, which color they like, which restaurant they like, to decide which publicity they must see to attract much more users. So privacy of users or privacy of women on social media especially is much more critical. It's how we say that, it's let's say it's major issue that is rarely or almost not treated in our society. So I think
Thank you so much, Mr. Amin. I totally agree with you on that point.
Yes.
Especially the saying that this subject is not sufficiently treated in our society, especially here in the underdeveloped countries. It is rarely treated sufficiently.
Yes.
So the next question is: being safe online really is it really an issue to the regular or normal person, or is it more a problem for wealthier and more famous people?
Can I answer?
Yes.
So as women, I think it's an issue that I think all women. I want to talk especially about women. All women are exposed to have online harassment and to have online issues. I don't consider myself as a famous woman, but I always face some kind of issues that stop me from using technology.
Thank you, Abid, for your lovely answer. You can answer if you like, Monsieur Rahmani.
Yes, of course. In fact, being safe on online using, especially online, it means that, or it is highly related to the trustworthiness between the users and the service providers. So the problem that almost all users in the world, especially women, do not do or do not take care of it is that we, as users, we don't read the privacy statement generally of websites, which can conduct to or can lead to other issues, other maybe data leakage, etc. So normally we should approve, we always validate or accept something that we don't read and that we don't know what it means. So yes, being safe in online or being safe online is based typically on answering the question that are we are we trust the providers or not?
The question is mainly about, there are famous people who are online. They have much more visibility to their audience. Do you think that this concern about their safety online, does it concern only the famous people, or does the normal person have to be concerned about their online safety as well?
No, I think being safe is something that is related to everyone, normal and famous. It is not a problem of who is this, but is problem as what we use. So yes, I think it is an issue of regular and normal persons and everybody.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Can I add something, if that's possible, of course?
Of course.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah, so I think, yes, it's true that both regular and normal person, all the person, it doesn't have to be gender. Being online, being safe online doesn't mean that only women have to be only safe and men doesn't get bullied or something like that. But what I want to say is, yes, it's true that all the people, whether you're a regular, normal person or wealthier, you'll get bullied, you'll get harassed everywhere. That's for sure. But what I wanted to say is that I think there is a very let's say degrees into that, because people who are more famous or have like sharing, or not let's say not famous, but in a regular way, because when we say famous, it can be just in, for example, in Instagram, in Facebook, or any other provider. I mean, there are other people who are famous who doesn't use these kind of accounts. But when we say famous, I mean in these kind of like platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all these kind of things. The more you share, the more you give people information about yourself, the more that you will be you will feel safe. You won't feel safe online. So I think, yes, in a way, it's more a problem of people who share more and who are somehow famous in certain platforms like TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, something like that. Yeah, that's what I wanted to add. Just a thought.
Thank you so much, Ms. Emil, for your answer. It is very appreciated. And the next question is directed to Monsieur Rahmani as well. Now that we have talked about the importance of being safe online, what are the different harassments and attacks people can get subjected to online? Meaning, how does someone know he is being harassed in an online space, and which type of harassment is it?
Yes, of course. In fact, being safe for users may not be related to what techniques is applied, but to what is his own comportment. How does he use these applications? I'm talking about regular checking about maybe the safe or trustful trustful devices. Trustful devices that we can use. So if there is any additional device that is unknown, so we should take this in consideration. Being how to know that you are being in harassment, it depends, in fact, in the type of attack you are getting. I'm talking about attacks, online attacks. If my profile is hacked anyway, so I should check maybe every night, maybe every 2 days, the new devices that are connected. Maybe I should use double authentication using my personal phone number. When we talk about our devices, when we see that our device is taking some compartment or some tasks that are unknown, like having a lot of tasks on Windows, like having a lot of publicity in our phones, which is the new kind of malwares that starts attacking phones. Recently, I have discovered one of the malwares that installed on Android that have directly the authorization to send SMS to other numbers. So imagine sending the code of authentication to Facebook from your phone to another phone without that you know, because there is no traceability, except that the authorization of application installed on the phone has the access to the SMS. Checking my credits, I have discovered that I have a phone which has been infected. So I discovered that some of the SMS had been sent without my knowledge. So how can we know that we are harassment? It is a matter of control. About importance on being safe, or the different harassment and attacks people can get. It can be malware, about some softwares that they install themselves, like I said, the malwares of Android, that they reinstall themselves without need to internet. There is the attacking about phishing emails. So for the kind of users that click on anything, on any publicity that he show, on any advertisement that he sees in Facebook, for example, that he talks a lot about specific subject while playing on his phone, which do most of the applications that listening to users. So yes, how does someone know he is being harassed? There is maybe some small steps to do.
Thank you so much, Monsieur Rahmani.
Can I add something?
Yes, of course,
yes.
Abid, go ahead.
Yeah, just talking about the importance of being safe online. Personally, I think that women won't be able to integrate themselves and excel in any field unless they feel safe being in that field. It's the same case for technology. If the internet is not safe for women, we will never be able to increase the percentage of women in tech. This a personal opinion.
Okay, thank you so much, Abir. Is there anything you would like to add, Miss Ahmed, in regard to this question?
Not really, but if I can ask Mr. Rahmani, can you please give us just like tools or something that we should like install just to be aware of this malware and all these kind of things, if it's possible, of course.
Yes, of course. In fact, maybe the most easiest way is to check your task manager each time. Maybe checking the RAM, the processor, maybe checking the installed applications on settings on your Android application, on Android, device. Do not click on any email. So as I said, it is about comportment. It is about how we behave when using our or using the online applications.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rahmani and Ms. Amal. Our next question is, why should normal people care about online safety? Because nowadays we can see that a lot of internet users don't really focus on this part or aren't even aware of it. They just use their applications. They just don't pay attention to this side that can actually be threatening their well-being online.
Yes, in fact, to answer this question, I prefer to say something. I think you should see the documentary, 2 documentaries in fact, The Great Hack and the Social Dilemma that has it is a 2020 new documentary that talk about the effect of social network on our lives. In fact, talking about online safety, we may talk a lot about how can we protect our personal data, our personal information on this. But rather than that, the most dangerous thing is how can we protect ourselves to not be affected by this, by online using. I mean, how much person can change his way of thinking just by talking to people, maybe some movies, some advertisements, some publication on Facebook. So yes, how to care, or why should normal people care about online safety? It is about or it is much more important, like we care about our lives, our personal lives in a home, our maybe even healthcare safety.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Monsieur Rahmani. Miss Amal or Miss Abir, would you like to add anything in regards to this question?
Yes, if you want. Do you have anything to add, Abir, or should I go?
I don't have anything to add.
Cool. So what I think is that, as Mr. Rahmani said, it's really a matter of, like, it's like this is your life. Being online or offline is practically the same. And one of the stories that perhaps I should share, just to try to share awareness, that shared with us in the online in the Dubai hackathon, is that the story of Isra, which who is actually a Palestinian girl who was killed because of social media. She used to like share stories, information, makeup, and all these kind of things, and people, because thought this is bad and this is not a good way for especially Arabic and preservative like families, so she was killed. So when we share something, we should think about the I mean, what are the consequences of doing such things and sharing this kind of things. So yeah, being online should be and knowing the essentiality and sharing the awareness among ourselves of what we share and how we should share it is very important, because it's not the same for women and for men, whether we accept it or not. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Miss Amal, for sharing your peace of mind in regards to this particular side of online safety. So the next question is directed to our ladies, Miss Amal and Miss Abir. Is there a reason for such tendencies within communities online to harass women in particular? And how can women adjust to the online space and avoid online bullying without affecting their internet persona and choices? You can start if you like, Miss Abir.
Go ahead, Abir.
Actually, I'm looking for an answer for this question too. I think there isn't an exact answer. Each story has its reasons, but I think I want to tell a story, my personal story. I have participated in the Women's Online Safety Hackathon in Dubai, and after attending this hackathon, I decided alongside with my team to organize another edition for Algerian women. And in order to increase the reach, we tried to announce the event via radio and TV shows. I have been invited to a TV show in order to give more details about the content, the location, the time, and the objectives behind the event. I clearly said that the aim of this event is to help women to excel in tech by providing a safer atmosphere. But unfortunately, there were a huge misunderstanding. You can check the video on Facebook. Some comments were very encouraging and supportive, and some others were destructive. I mean, it's destructive. I remember even my family, my brothers, started receiving private messages asking them to stop me from encouraging women to look for the same rights and the same opportunities as men in tech. I had to read to other any contacts or negative comments. So I was asking myself why people are doing this, and especially I have received many comments from women. I'm still wondering why people are doing this. To be honest, I don't have an answer till now.
It's okay, Ms. Abir. I think we all are still very confused about these tendencies about women being harassed much more than men. And yeah, thank you so much for your answer. Ms. Emil, would you like to answer this question?
Yeah, thank you, Abir, very much for sharing your adventure. I think it's really, how can I say it? But it's really very bad to see people try to rebash you or say something like that, make you like feel like you're not even enough for doing some things. And perhaps if I could answer, I would answer the first question, because the second question, I wouldn't have a clear answer for it yet, still now. I mean, so for reasons, I think it's the, especially in the Arab world, we have like these tendencies, men and women. And when we think about the Arabic culture and how we are raised, it's a very masculine kind of society. So basically, when we get all this kind of harassment and all these kind of things, is generally speaking from men. And when we are given these kind of bullying or these kind of things, they don't think about what we would feel. All the things that they want to have, all the things that they care about, is bullying you and wanting, like, they want to control you in a certain way. So yeah, and the reason is because at a certain point there are people and men who don't respect us as women, and they don't respect our choices, they don't respect our lives, our dreams. And for this, I think we try to, let's say, avoid this kind of thing, is to learn first as women to respect ourselves and try to I don't know, broadcast it for everyone in front of us, so that they know how they should treat us in a certain way. So yeah, avoiding bullying, I don't think that if it's even possible, because whether we like it or not, we will be bullied in a certain way or another. So I think the question is not to avoid bullying, but actually how we can adjust to these bullyings and never think about them, as much as we can to have supportive people around us so that they can help us in these difficult moments. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Miss Amel. I totally agree, because not having the proper support in your environment can make you feel even more devastated, even more scared, and you would just isolate yourself even more. You would feel even worse about yourself, which must not happen, because like you said, we should be respected as much as we respect ourselves, and that should come in the first place. So thank you, Miss Amel. The next question. is for Monsieur Rahmani. In your opinion, what is the difference? What are the differences between the bullying / harassment in real life and the bullying or harassment that is being done online, which is also known as cyberbullying?
Well, in fact, there is no difference actually between them, except that the cyberbullying or harassment, it may be much more easier to do, in fact, or to perform rather than to avoid, because cyberbullying is it is about, can we define the person who do this harassment? How can we identify him? How can we trace him to the source? Does this person that do these things provide the right information about him or not? So as I said, the difference in terms of impact, there is no difference. Both have the same impact. Just about how can we or which one is much more easier to avoid is the normal bullying, because each one can be or can take some prudence on real life. But in online life or in cyber life, we are much more opposed to errors than real life.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rahmani, for your answer. The next question is dedicated to Miss Amal. Since you are, mashallah, machine learning GDE, how can we invest in machine learning to ensure cybersecurity and online safety? Since machine learning models are being used more frequently nowadays, how can we exploit them to serve our purpose of preventing online harassment?
Yes. So thank you for the question. Actually, when we say machine learning and we try to find like tools that can help us secure more the let's say the security or the online safety of some people. And I think one of the things that we can use, for example, there are different techniques. For example, using speech recognition to detect hate speech. If someone is sending you a voice message or something, so this can be done. Like for example, when talking with someone. I think also, for example, using computer vision, we can use like detecting like malicious posts shared by women in different places, in different platforms. We're trying to reduce doxing, and by doxing, I mean like revealed informations, because one of the things that people don't think is that when you share something on the internet, when it's there, it's already there. We cannot change it. And we cannot have it. It's one of the internet problems, because when you post something, it's already there, and it's very hard to have it back. So I think also we can use like digital fingerprinting, for example, for computer vision, using computer vision and photo matching technologies when for example, let's say consensual intimate image is shared. We can use NLP to detect bullying, harassment, or let's say text categorization. For example, if something is a spam or bad thing. We can also try to classify comments, toxic comments. So how this to try to all this to try to invest more in cybersecurity and trying to be safe online. For example, we can also use, let's say, sentiment analysis. For example, to say if this comment is bullied or not, I try to remove it later from the from Twitter or something. For example, but I think, well, one of the important things is that AI could help us automate, let's say, the process for, like, for example, NGOs or law firms to protect a victim of harassment. I mean, because it's very hard when you're like cyberbullied or you don't feel safe online or anything, to have to collect the information and send them to the law firms, to the police, or to the NGO. Having tools and having these kind of tools will help you advance and give women more power and more advantage to feel at least safe online. Finding, like, detecting indecent images or videos using AI, which were shared without your permission, and developing, for example, also profile picture guard, like for women, to prevent access to sharing their photo across the different social media platforms. So basically, yeah, how we invest in machine learning? Machine learning, as I have to say, is a double-edged weapon. So as much as it could be a good, but could have, like, bring some tools, new tools to the table to help automate and make more the automation process is more, let's say, easy. But the problem also, machine learning can be used to be used to have, like, very bad security, or using it to cyberbully or harass girls and women. So yeah, it's a double-edged weapon, I have to say.
Thank you so much, Ms. Amal, for your answer. It has been very useful, and I hope that we can, in the future, we can exploit in a better way in machine learning, regarding the fact that it can be a very powerful tool to prevent online harassment and provide a safer space for online users, especially for women.
Hopefully.
Inshallah. So the next question is dedicated to all our dear panelists. Do you think there is a correlation between countries' development level and the spread of cyber harassment, or is it more of a universal issue? And are there any major factors that can contribute to the increase of such behavior? For example, is there a link between, for example, in our country, in underdeveloped country in North Africa, and in the USA, it's not the same thing. Do you think there's a relation between, in regards to this side of the countries?
Yes, can I answer this question?
Yes, of course,
in fact, yes, I think that there is strong correlation, between the development of the countries and spread of cyber. It is about a major factor that's really, in fact, affects this issue, is about how governments first treat this subject. I mean, in the United States, for example, or in Europe, there is some referentials that are used to enforce the laws of protecting of privacy, like the HIPAA, about protecting healthcare data in the United States. Even in Japan, there is the APPI. So there are other tools or other documents, at least documents, there is a strong or a high consideration taken by law enforcement or law enforcement organizations to ensure the right application of laws. Meanwhile, in underdeveloped countries, in lots of underdeveloped countries, it is just recently that they take care about cyber attacks, about cyber harassment, about the traceability of these harassments to offer the right punishment, maybe. So, of course, I think this is a matter of how the justice treats these cases rather than how users can be affected than it. So
Indeed.
I think users, yes.
Go ahead then, Mr. Rahmani. Sorry for interrupting you. You can continue to elaborate on your opinion.
I mean, users in underdevelopment worlds, in underdevelopment countries, are much more vulnerable to these attacks because of, as I said, the absence maybe or the inapplication of these of law of there is lot of laws. Maybe for example, in Algeria there is the law of number 1608, which talks about the importance of not sharing informations that have a personal nature. Sorry. But the problem that's exposed here, which or who can decide which information is private or not. Besides that, there is maybe an absence also or lack of how we say this, lack of sorry, I say this with Arabic, lack of يعني نقص توعية for users, for under development countries users, and they say or they use maybe Facebook. Maybe the most important example is what's happening between China and USA. For all the problems that have, only problem that takes the most importance and attracts the most attention is the TikTok problem, because they know what is the importance of data or what is the value of data. Meanwhile, in underdeveloped countries, maybe the data is still treated as normal data, as something that has no importance, maybe. Sorry,
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Rahmani. Yes. And as I said at the beginning, you can use whatever language you like. You can speak in Arabic, in French, however you feel comfortable. Please use that language. And thank you so much for your answer. Ms. Abid, would you like to add to what Mr. Rahmani has said?
Well, I don't really have an answer about the reason behind the spread of harassment, but I think that development, the increase when the development level increase, it's logically gonna increase the of tools used in social media, and then the cyber issue, the cyber harassment issue is gonna be. We will have more cases about cyber harassment, and that's a personal point of view.
Thank you so much, Ms. Abid, for sharing your opinion. Would you like to add anything, Ms. Amal? Maybe state out your peace of mind in regards to this question.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Well, I think what both Mr. Rahmani and Abir said is what I wanted to say. So yeah, it's very linked. It's not the same level in developing countries and in underdeveloped countries, and so I think one of the reasons is somehow, as Mr. Rahmani said, is the lack of making the law, executing the law. This is one of the issues in Tunisia too. So I think that there are some laws, but most of them are not applicable, are not being applied by governors or anyone else. So yeah, unfortunately, and this is what gives people the freedom to cyber harass or to spread these bad behaviors, even online or offline. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Amal, for your contribution. The next question is dedicated, first of all, to Mr. Rahmani. Are users' rights considered a major factor when writing social media guidelines? And are those guidelines protective enough of harassment victims, especially in the case of women? For example, on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, are the guidelines that these platforms have made, are they protective enough of such victims?
Yes. In fact, when I was thinking like that, but when to be clear here, when I saw the documentary Social Dilemma and the witnesses that had gave their opinion there, which are all prior workers in Facebook, in Instagram, even in Google. So at first, social media and websites were developed to make the life much more easier, to have friends like your maybe personal interest, to have much more maybe, or to gain much more time in searching some new connections, some new maybe products, etc. But now it had become a concurrence between these websites, which has been concurrence on who can attract much more users and gain much more maybe money from data, exactly. So users' rights may be considered a major factor as privacy statement, and I insist on that. We should all of us read the privacy statement. I once read the privacy statement of Facebook, which is clearly mentioned that our data, our personal data on Facebook, are shared with third party, with other enterprises on United States, especially on that are specialists on maybe data analysis or something like that, to offer much more services to the users. So users' rights are considered at once, but considered with limits for these social media guidelines. So are those guidelines protective enough of harassment victims? I think yes, they are protective. Just they don't take in consideration when the user make false, when the user do something that is wrong, when the user click on maybe a malicious link, then the fault of the user. They have no way to protect this maybe. But I think it is enough for some websites and not. Taking the example of Facebook, when somebody, especially women, when have some harassments, they signal to, or they send to the commenter to the account of the person that causes this harassment is not blocked, even if a lot of bodies should maybe take this in consideration. So we see a lot of publication that says سمحوني نقولها بالدارجة s'il vous plaît signalيو هذا الكونت باش يتبلع باش يتغلق. دونك اشاك فوا لازم شحال من واحد يسينيالي. Et ici, ça reste un problème de confiance. Est-ce que les gens qui signalent cette personne, le signalent parce qu'une personne mauvaise ou bien juste parce qu'ils connaissent la victime ou bien la victime n'est pas une victime dès le début? C'est ça le problème. Donc, I think I've answered this. I don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Hamani. Indeed, you have answered our question very well, so thank you very much. Would you like to add anything, Ms. Amal? Do you agree with what Mr. Rahmani has said, or do you have another opinion in regards to this question?
No, I totally agree what we have said, and what perhaps I could add is that using this or the platform in itself is not, let's say, done in a way for women. So it's like a platform for men or for to live or to share things, but it's not for women. And this is one of the things that most of the things that people share or people invent or people create is just thought of about one perception or one way of thinking, which is for men. And so what I wanted to add is perhaps let's try not to be on this online, yes, and try as much as possible to think before sharing something or doing something or adding something into our platform, because this is the only way we can protect ourselves. No one is going to protect us if we don't protect ourselves. So I think thinking before sharing is something that most of the women should do before anything bad can happen. So yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Ms. Amal. The next question is directed to Ms. Abir. As you have graduated firstly as a software engineer, do you think that basic tech knowledge like web knowledge is necessary for women to avoid online harassment?
Yes, of course. I think that every woman should know some basics about web. Should know some web knowledge. Should have some web knowledge in order to avoid some attacks, like the attacks that use the requests. So if a woman understands well how a request is going to be happened to or to be answered, she will be aware of the way that anyone can attack her.
Thank you so much, Abir, for your answer. The next question. So, as you know, you and Ms. Amal, I think, have participated in Women's Online Safety Hackathon in Dubai last year. Can you tell us more about this experience, and how did this experience change you, and did it affect any decisions or acts you made after that? Would you like to go first, Abir, or?
Yes, no problem. So the Women's Online Safety Hackathon, it was the first hackathon dedicated for women in the MENA region. It was organized by Google MENA team. So we were about 30 women TechMakers ambassador, and we worked all together, not really together, but we created teams and we worked to find technical solutions for online harassment and women's online safety problems. How did this experience change me? First, this opportunity helped me to be aware of the most challenging issues that women are facing, especially in MENA region. I heard a lot of stories that other women faced and I wasn't aware about. Also, I'm now now I know some ways to protect myself and how to advise other girls and women to be protected while using internet.
Thank you so much, Abid, for sharing your experience with us. We would also like to hear Miss Amal's experience. So, Miss Amal, if you would like to share yours with us, we would be very delighted.
Yes. So as Abi said, it was really enriching in a way that you hear lots of stories about other women, and it stucks you that lots of women in the same in the Arab world face this. When a panelist asked us, "Did you face?" Asked us in like when we were like in the lobby or in the hall, did you face like a problem or were you being harassed? I mean, all the girls there left their hands. No, not even one girl didn't left her hand, which is like basically very bad because every woman at least once felt unsafe, and this is in a certain way makes you feel like how women are facing more and more challenges just to be in a place where it's like normal for men to live in or to live in exactly. And as Abir said, they shared like really great notes about how can we make ourselves feel safe. One of the I think not say applications is the ICE like how can you like in case of emergency send a message your GPS location to select the contacts that you have and send them if you feel unsafe. Block Together app, which is an app that can help you block people if you feel like unsafe in a certain place. For example, also they shared like, for example, some kind of, let's say, how can you say some things that we should do. For example, on Twitter, you try to change your privacy settings, you try to make multiple accounts, try to make one which is protecting, the other one is public, because Twitter by itself is public. And most importantly, never geotag, never ever tell people where you are, and so that they cannot find you in real life and do bad things to you. So yeah, I think there are quite of other things that could be shared, and but most of them is how we to try you can find it online, is how can you try to make feel safe online, and the guidelines to for example on Twitter or on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and what the things that you should do and should never do on these platforms as a woman. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Amal, for sharing your experience with us. We do hope that we see more participation in such hackathons or ideathons. We would like to see what other women have to share in regards to this subject, and what other ideas they have to propose in order to be the source of their own protection. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. But one of the things to add is I think it's also a good idea to include also men in these kind of things, so that they try to understand what we are fearing and what we are facing in front of us, not just only women, because men alone can do this. So I think men and women, we should like all women try to have as much more men that we can, and have like a hackathon or an ideathon for this kind of subjects.
Exactly, yes. I totally agree with you. Thank you once again, Ms. Amal, for your contribution. So, Ms. Abel, we would like to ask you about your solution that you have presented at the Dubai Hackathon. Would you like to share with us the solution that your team have suggested last year?
Of course. So with a solution called Amina, which is a virtual assistant that provide a warm space for online
Abir, we can't hear you well. I think Abir is
express
having
themselves and as the Google Assistant Standard Arabic, as it has been announced on Google Formina event on December. So we have used a technique, a machine learning technique, the federated learning, in his keynote at annual developer conference Google I/O 2019. The CEO Sundar Pichai have announced that Google will be using this technique. It enables mobile phones at different geographical locations to collectively learn a machine learning model without transferring any that may contain personal information from the devices. We have gained the third place. All this thanks to the mentors who were there and helped us to understand the different concepts of women's online safety.
Thank you so much, Ms. Abel, for it was indeed a great solution, and I hope that we can see such solutions be applied all over the world, not just like this, and many more solutions in order to prevent this big phenomenon that needs to be prevented as soon as possible. Ms. Emil, would you like to share your own solution that you have presented in Dubai's hackathon?
Yes, sure. So what we was thinking is, alongside our team, we were more focused about how we can create tools to prevent people from sharing stuff or like having stuff that they shouldn't do. Prevent doxing, prevent them how they can stop. Getting our information, sharing our information, and if someone try to share something with you, you are somehow feel safe enough that that person that you have shared with is not going to try to use it in a very bad way. Basically, that's the whole idea about it, because one of the issues about internet is that how can you stop something from trying it or sharing it if you shared it with someone else? And this is one of kind of the dilemma of the internet. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Amal. It was indeed a great solution. Thank you for sharing it with us. As you know, WTM Algiers have organized back in March, our own edition of the Women Online Safety Hackathon, and we had a lot of participants who have presented great ideas. And of course, Ms. Abir was also present. She had given a lot of presentations there too. Would you like, Ms. Abir, to share how was the atmosphere at WTM Algiers Ideathon? How did you find it, and was it effective enough? Do you think it was effective enough to spread more awareness about this topic in our country?
Of course. Thank you for the question. So on 6th March, we had our edition of the Women's Online Safety Ideathon, and not a hackathon. The idea of the idea to find solutions without implementing them. So we had teams. They were all working to find solutions, as we did at Dubai. We have taken into consideration of Miss Anas Lami. We try to involve even men to find solutions to this problem. So we have 16 at the end. We have 16 great ideas. We have also mentors and psychologists to help us and them to find the right solutions for the problem. I think it was really beneficial. We ended up having a set of great solutions, and I hope they will all work on them to develop and to make them real.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Abir, for your contribution to this question. So the next question is directed to Ms. Amal Lamy. Are there any new technologies used by big companies such as Google, Twitter, and Facebook to fight back? And can non-experts, meaning normal people, benefit from these technologies to enhance their online safety? Or do you think that it's still in early stages of development?
Yes, thank you for the question. Well, as a matter of fact, there is something like most of us know that big giant techs like Google, Twitter, or Facebook, what they have is the data. Their oil is our data, and one of the things is how to use this kind of data in a kind of preserving way, a privacy preserving way. And one of the techniques, let's say, or one of the emerging fields in, for example, machine learning is called privacy preserving machine learning, which is basically trying to not just preserve the data, preserve the privacy of the person, for example, and have like this could at least impact also the online safety of women, men, and all of your data that you have in your for example, smartphone or anything or PC. And with privacy preserving machine learning, it can also be a good use to the models they are using. So one of the emerging fields that it's, as you said, it's still in the early stages of development is called privacy preserving machine learning. And there are kind of cybersecurity techniques like homomorphic encryption, secure multi-party computation, differential privacy, and federated learning that are being used to preserve the privacy of the data. And thus it could be like the first let's say stage to build on top of it later to help as a next level have a more online safety online kind of platform. So yeah, and it could be for the best, but it's still in the early stages.
Thank you so much, Ms. Amal, for your answer. It was indeed useful. So, Monsieur Rahmani, would you like to state your own thoughts about this specific question?
Yes, of course. In fact, because I've worked on privacy preserving before, so yes, like what Ms. Amal had mentioned, set of techniques like homomorphic cryptography, like de-identification, like data perturbation. They are all new. There is, in fact, a new domain of research, which has touched many domains like Internet of Things, data mining, like privacy preserving data mining, the techniques that preserve and somehow preserve the privacy of users, and also in the same time we can use data mining to evaluate privacy of such data. Is it really private at some, or did we preserve privacy among this data or not? Also, there is another problem of these privacy techniques is that they are techniques that must be implemented by service providers, which take us all the time to read privacy statements to decide whether we can make trust or we can trust the providers or not. Big companies maybe present some level of trust to all users maybe on the world, but when we will talk about other maybe future companies here in Algeria, or small companies that maybe will impact worldwide and can be used here in Algeria. So we may take in consideration what techniques may they provide to protect privacy, and how can we trust them or not.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rahmani. It was a great answer. You have indeed benefited all of us in regards to this question. The next question is dedicated to all our dear panelists. Have you or someone you know closely ever encountered the problem of online harassment? If you ever have, what did you think at that time, and how did you heal or react to the situation, and how did you deal with it on certain different aspects? Would you like to go first, Miss Aga?
I have already told you about my story. So how did I heal? I didn't. In fact, I didn't heal, but I remember at that time the only solution it was in my mind is to block my account and just to be far away from those bad negative comments, just to protect my. To protect myself and to keep working on what I was working.
Thank you so much, Miss Abir. We hope that such situation will never happen to you or to anyone else, basically, because
but
no one would
I think that
yes,
the solution I have taken into consideration wasn't really efficient. I think it is really important to find other solutions to help women not to block their accounts because they are blocking many stuffs at that time. I had to migrate to other platforms. I lost a lot of time. I lost a lot of contacts, and it wasn't good at all.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. The solution doesn't lie in, like you say, individuals blocking themselves from the social media. The issue is actually from the people themselves. They need to treat each other more respectfully, and they need to have respect for everyone else, regardless of their gender or their age or whatever. So yeah, thank you so much, Abir. And as I said, I hope that such an unfortunate experience will never happen to you again or to anyone else in the world, basically. Miss Amal, would you like to add your own peace of mind on this question?
Yes. So as I said, I really think that most of the women, if not all women, had at least once encountered the problem of online harassment, bullying, with different kinds. There are different degrees, that's true, but every woman at least felt unsafe online. And I think as one of the things that we can feel unsafe is by when we try to share something and people read it in other ways or don't understand us or respect us enough to say bad things in front of us or even online without even showing their faces, without even trying to basically say bad things to you. And one of the things is that before sharing something that I really recommend is that when you try to share something, try to think about it. Is this helpful? Is this going to be bad in a way? Could some people potentially use this piece of information against me? So one of the things is not just only sharing online, but also when you share something special with someone. I mean, most of us, like most of the dating nowadays is basically online. So because of certain reasons, if you don't know that person offline, I mean, in real life, he could be bad. So sharing stuff with him before knowing, before feeling that he's a good person or a bad person, it can be very troubling, can give you really headaches. Not just headaches, but also it can go beyond very bad things. So I think one of the things is when something bad happens is try as much as you can to try to avoid social media at least for some time. I know it's not an answer, but at a certain level, this is one of the answers that I found that it could be helpful because at a certain time, social media is toxic, whether we like it or not. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Miss Emil. I do agree with you on the last point. Social media can be really toxic. It can affect your mental health, even your physical health, and the person should know how to use it and which limits they need to adapt themselves to. So yeah, thank you so much for your lovely answer. How about you, Mr. Hamani? Have you ever encountered such situation, and or have you had a close one from your, or one of your friends or families to experience such a?
In fact, personally, or people that are close to me, I never had any special cases like this, but I like to read a lot of security news in websites, and when I read them, I realize the reality of harassment. Like I might give simple example. Last week in the city of Ontario in Canada, it has been a big leakage of a small organization there that take care of contacting nurses to facilitate much more the contacts with nurses, the nurses between them, and we all know that the majority of employees in nurses are, or the majority of nurses are women. So it had been leakage of about 185,000 personal record of nurses in one night, in simple click, which had led to the organization to stop all of its services, including public services for those sick people who are in their home and searching for nurses for medical taking care. So I think that the reaction is to stop the whole organization, the whole services, until the organization find another solution. So yes, harassment can be caused maybe in several forms and several ways. It might be with a photo, with an information, with. I think that when I read the article, I really thought about those nurses, how they will behave now in the city when they know that there is maybe millions of people who knows really special informations about them. So
Thank you so much, Mr. Rahmani. It is indeed very awful to hear about this story, and I hope that everyone, whoever shares their information online, I hope that they will stay safe. And like all of you have said in your previous contributions, you have said that a person, an individual, or whoever should share the bare minimum of their personal information online in order not to face such unfortunate events. So thank you so much once again, Mr. Rahmani. The next question is for Ms. Amal Salami. Should computer science students and programmers be taught at an early point in their learning process to integrate fully functional and easy-to-use reporting systems and to provide data for research, such as providing negative comments to train new AI, artificial intelligence capable of spotting such crimes?
Yes. So basically, what I think is providing the data could be a good and a bad thing, but one of the things is that, yeah, computer science students should be taught how to about the learning process and how to use the reporting systems, because this will help them in like I don't know, avoiding bad comments and feel a way about them. So spotting such crime is not an easy target, but let's say, for example, using AI, you can having a machine learning model that runs in the background over and over and over again, for example, to help find like malicious parts or find, let's say, bad content. But it takes like some GPU computation and all these kind of things. But trying to find, I think it's more of less about the stuff that should people know, whether you're a computer science student or not, or a programmer or not. But one of them is you should think about what you should share about in your social media and how you should share it, how you can think about it, and all this kind of things. So, for example, Googling yourself, finding information that you want to take as much as possible, because when you Google this kind of stuff, you know what really exists in the internet. So trying to prevent as much information as possible. So yeah, but I think that computer science students and programmers should be taught these kind of learning process about machine learning that can help provide, lower the barrier to all these kind of things.
Thank you so much, Miss Emily. Your answer was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. It was really useful. Continuing with the previous question that we have asked you, Miss Aman, do you think that reporting harassment can reduce the problem? And in your opinion, what solutions concerning chat box technology can be applied by machine learning engineers? Before that, can you please make a brief explanation about chat box technology for our viewers who don't really know what a chat box is, please?
Yes, sure. So yeah, before I'll answer the first question, which is reporting the harassment, can it reduce the problem? I definitely agree that it can, and it should, because the more you report, the more people you will find, more voices and more people against someone, because as we say it, one hand can never clap alone. So reporting is not when you say like I don't know how in Algeria, but in Tunisia we say فكالية مش لازم معناها it's not obligatory. Why would I do that? And the process could be very long, and it can take very much time. So people tend to be and most of the people don't find like a very rewarding act when they report harassment or something. So it takes time, it takes energy, and it takes very much to collect the information to report all the harassment, because there are not very much of, let's say, tools that are provided to do so in a very, let's say, sophisticated way. So doing this reporting, as much as hard as it could be, and as much as not rewarding as it could be the first step to have a more or less or of a community that can help people doing these kind of things. And by chat box, I think you mean like chatting online, someone who is chatting with you online, right? If I'm not wrong. So a chatbot, right?
Yes, I think that I'm not really sure about what chat box means, but I think that this is the real meaning of what a chat box is. So yes, thank you, Ms. Ahmed.
Yes.
Please
Okay.
continue.
So,
Yes.
okay. So, well, okay. I think chatbox is okay. There is chatbots and chatbox. Well, chatbots or chatbox are like basically that. Well, I think chatbox meaning like you manage all your social and chat applications. When you gather all your contacts, you can keep in touch by sending text messages and all these kind of things. So I think our chatting, when chatting and all these kind of things, machine learning can be used by, for example, NLP when using natural language processing, which means that you can detect, for example, speech hate, hating speech, or someone who is bullying you, someone who is harassing you, when someone sends you bad content, because not only you send and you can receive some person who I know received a very bad image or very bad information about someone without even her consent. So getting this kind of information, machine learning can help predict. Say for example, if this is a bad, let's say, photo or a bad command, don't show it or hide it until the one who wants to see, who is destined for see it. So basically, one of the most used ones are like, for example, NLP, natural language processing, and computer vision. It could be also used, as I said before, with speech recognition when someone sends you voice messages, and we try to detect in this speech if there are any harm or, let's say, bad comments in that speech. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Amal, for your amazing answer. It has been really useful, and I am sure our audience have benefited from this answer of yours. So our last question for today is dedicated to all of our panelists. Do you think more severe sanctions for the offenders can help people feel more safe online and can stop offenders from committing these crimes? Or is spreading awareness much important? What do you personally think? Starting with you, Ms. Abir, if you have an answer for this question. I think Ms. Abir is facing some connection issues, so it's okay. Can you answer the question, Mr. Rahmani?
Yes, in fact, I think thinking about the right sanctions, the right or integrating even these sanctions in the law as well as the sanctions in real life concerning harassment in real life, can maybe somehow reduce some of this online harassment, of this online, or making maybe people feeling more safe online, taking also in consideration the possibility of having some errors, some users maybe that do not know how to use, just used to use, like what we see now in Instagram and Facebook, people that maybe do not even know what means Instagram or Facebook. They just use to share some videos, to set something, or to set anything, just to attract other people, to attract other users to comment and some things like that. So yes, I think more severe sanctions can be partial solution for online crimes in general.
Thank you so
About
much.
spreading awareness, I think yes.
Yes, Mr. Rahmani, I'm sorry for interrupting you. You can continue. Thank you.
Sorry, I was talking about spreading awareness. I think in underdevelopment countries, it may be a problem about spreading awareness. Like I said, people that they don't know what they are using or what or why they are using. They just use because everyone uses it. That's all. And the more people like it, the more people not like it but laugh on it, the more they use. So I think spreading awareness may pose some problems.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Rahmani, for your answer. Ms. Abir, are you here? Can you answer? Can you give your own answer to this question, please? So I think Abir is still facing some connection issues. It's okay. So we direct the question to you, Ms. Amal. Can you share your own thoughts in regards to this question, please?
Yes, sure. So what I think is, yes, severe sanctions could be a partial or could be of a good use to help more people feel more online safely, but it also depends on lots of issues because all the cultures are very different from one place to another. For example, Tunisia is not like India, it's not like Algeria, it's not like Korea, it's not like USA. So having these kind of sections, a general sanctions for everyone and for every country seems like very not in a good way, not a good way of doing things. But yeah, and sharing awareness, I think is yes, as Mr. Ahmeni said, it's not. It could be of a problem because it takes time, and people tend to be a bullier before anything else. But I think sharing awareness as much as we want it for us women first, and then we try to spread it as much as we can because it's all a educational process. It's not going to happen in one day or 1 year or 100 years. It takes some time, and to do this, we have like to start from somewhere. Sanctions alone are not enough. Awareness alone is not enough. So I think trying to find solutions, mingle the sanctions, the awareness, and try to find new ways that can help more women feel safe online could be probably a solution to all this kind of problem or dilemma.
Thank you so much, Ms. Amal, for your very interesting answer. I think Ms. Abir has fixed her connection issues. Are you still with us, Ms. Abir? Would you mind sharing your own opinion about this question, please? It's okay. So I think Ms. Abir. Oh, okay.
I think
Okay, go ahead.
I think both cyber sanctions and spreading have the same value, importance in the process of eliminating this problem. I think we have to do them. We have to set severe sanctions for the offenders in order to stop them from people. In the same time, we need to spread awareness for women and men to help us men must be and should men should be a part of the solution in order to help us to arrive to attain our objectives very fast.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Ms. Aber. Thank you so much for your answer. So this was our last question. However, to wrap up this amazing panel, could each of you give some advice and instructions to people out there in order to protect themselves online and to reduce the possibility of future unfortunate events that are related to online safety, whether it's related to them or to their close ones on the internet. Starting with you, Mr. Rahmani, would you like to answer this question, please? Could you give us any tips for people out there to provide more stronger protection to themselves online?
I think yes, I think the only thing that we can advise users on online is just to know what to use, why to use, and how to use it. I think just to be much more prudent on what we click, what we read, what we think about, what we talk about with other people, I think can be somehow provide such protection for us. So and also maybe to stay updated with the news with all our applications, which I mean we must update our systems, our applications, take all the time some news. There is a good website, I will send it to you to share, which shows all the time the last vulnerabilities, the last we said vulnerabilities or defaults in applications, in different applications that we use, that show we can stay updated with the last news of their problems and to stay updated with the last security updates offered. So this is what I can say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rahmani. Your tips have been indeed useful for our audience and for everyone out there who want to give themselves better protection online. Ms. Emma Salami, would you like to give your own contribution or any tips, advice to everyone who wants to protect themselves online, please?
Yes. Well, one of the things that I would recommend is when you are online, just make sure that to always remember that everyone is a potential threat. When you don't know that person, when you don't know that profile, try as much as possible to stop him from sending you messages. Try as much as possible to have like a relative close people that know exactly where you're going if you're going somewhere, so that they know it can help you at a certain point in a case. So yeah, and one of the things is try to as much as possible to think before acting or before sharing something, because once the information is there, it cannot be retrieved back. So the internet is a very scary place. If you don't use it in a good way, even if you do use it in a good way, some people who have very bad malicious thoughts can give very bad could lead to very bad results. And yeah, so basically I think try to find ways to secure yourself, find applications to try as much as possible to stay online safely. And yeah, that's it for me, I think.
Thank you so much, Ms. Amal. Abir, would you like to add anything to the tips and advices that Mr. Rahmani and Ms. Amal have shared?
Yes, of course. Well, the solution doesn't concern only tips for women in order to be online, not to be online harassed, but we need to change the mentality of people and help them to accept and embrace differences. It's okay to share our opinions, to advise people, but we should avoid destructive feedback or attack someone's privacy to stop him from doing what he is doing. I highly recommend that everyone do his best to be part of the solution. In the time being, I think women should be more careful to avoid being harassed or bullied. Also, I want to point out that being safe is a whole process that must be educated to every age range and every gender in the aim of securing ourselves and everyone that we know.
Absolutely, Abir, thank you so much for your lovely answer. On that note, thank you so much, Ms. Amal, Ms. Abir, and Mr. Rahmani for joining us today. We hope that our audience have benefited from this amazing panel. You have made amazing contributions with your answers, so we want to thank you so much. And as last point, we just want to say that this topic doesn't concern like women or men. It concerns all of the community, and we should stand together in order to fight it and to prevent it and to provide safer environment, whether it's in real life or online, for all the generations. So yeah, thank you so much to our dear panelists. And would you like to have any do you have any last words before we conclude this panel for today? Would you like to go first, Ms. Abir?
Well, I hope that this session was beneficial for everyone. I hope we could share some points of view, some of our experience in Dubai, and the experience and the knowledge of Mr. Rahmani Amin was really beneficial for me. So I hope that everyone who was with us in this session have an idea about this challenging issue, and I hope that they will develop new solutions and involve in the process of securing women, especially, and everyone in general, to be more safe and to be able to use internet safely.
Thank you so much, Ms. Abir. Would you like to add anything, Mr. Rahmani, as last words?
Well, I would thank you very much for the team, for this organization. I really appreciate the panel. I thank also Ms. and Ms. Abir for their contributions too, for their answers, and wish all of you good luck in the future.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rahmani. The pleasure is all ours to have you among us today. Thank you so much for your participation. Would you like to add anything, Ms. Ahmed?
Yes, thank you very much for the invitation and for putting all this together. I hope more women find this useful and try to spread these kind of informations, because lots of information were really amazing. And thank you very much for sharing all your thoughts, Mr. Amin and Abir, for everything. So yeah, thank you for putting this, and I hope more women can share this and try to share as much awareness as possible across the Arab world, so that we can have like more somehow a more safe let's say platforms. Thank you.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Ms. Amal. Thank you again, Ms. Abir and Mr. Rahmani. We were absolutely delighted and honored to have you among us today for this panel. It wouldn't have been this amazing without all your contributions. So thank you so much once again, and we would even be more honored if we can have you again in future events or future activities. Please don't hesitate to contact us. We would absolutely love to have you again. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with all of us, and yeah, thank you so much, and I hope you have enjoyed this panel of WTM Algiers Online Safety Week, and please stay tuned for more posts and more information to be shared in the future days, inshallah. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.